Hey folks, I hope you guys had a great long weekend. I am going to be going over all of our materials for this week. This is the first of many weekly check-ins that we'll do together. So usually I'll do these on Mondays, like afternoons, as soon as I'm done with one of my classes. But today, since we had the long weekend, it's on Tuesday. So this is just, again, weekly check-ins. We'll be just going over assignments, just going through our course information, what dates are going to be coming up, anything that you need to look at on the horizon for the future weeks to come, any projects, things like that, and just hopefully clarify anything that you need clarified. So let me go ahead and share my screen and we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, so just a refresher, if you do not remember from the course virtual orientation, to look at all of your due dates and everything. You do have your calendar that'll be down here under like the course resources or course management. But if you go over here to course information, you will see I've got a schedule for us as far as just every week goes. We are on week 2, the 15th through the 21st. Remember, all of our assignments are always due on Sundays at 11:59 p.m. And we do use adaptive release. So after 11:59 p.m. on Sundays, it will go into the next week and the materials from the previous week will close. So make sure that you're meeting those due dates because, again, my late work policy, I do not accept late work if things are submitted late without some sort of documentation or outstanding circumstance warranting it. So on our week 2, we are completing this week lessons 1 and 2 in Edpuzzle. We'll do quiz 1 this week. We will complete our active seeing assignment, and we're going to introduce the midterm project as well. So the midterm project introduction, this is going to be that introduction. You can go ahead and look ahead if you'd like to see what the midterm project is like, very clearly laying out, but I'm just going to kind of tell you an overview of what it is. So let's go back up here to our modules, and you'll see this week, module 1 is now open, and this is going to be another place where you can look for due dates as well. I've also got like a little mapped out version of what lessons 1 and 2 are going to cover. Lesson 1 is on discovering a world of art. It's basically just like a introduction into what visual arts entail, some very basic terminology, and just a few other clarifications on what to expect for this course. Lesson 2 is about evaluating artwork. Our first project, our midterm project, is going to be about evaluating artwork. We're going to write an art analysis of a chosen artwork, and we'll be using the knowledge that we've learned up until the midterm, basically, to write that paper. So this is like the first step into understanding how to evaluate an artwork. You'll learn about form, subject matter, and content. Those are 3 super, super important terms to remember throughout this entire course. So if you don't kind of, remember that in the Edpuzzle while watching it, just know those are 3 really, really big terms that will get used throughout this entire course. So a lot of good stuff in this first module here. So when we click into module 1, we'll see we've got the active seeing assignment. This is going to take place, well, actually, I'll come back to the active seeing assignment. First, let's look down here at the Edpuzzle folder. This is where all of your Edpuzzles will take place. And just note, so I know on the course information and the schedule, it just says cover lessons 1 and 2. That means all of this in this folder, though. These 3 videos here are within lessons 1 and 2. So just to clarify, make sure that you please watch all of those and not just the lessons 1 and 2. All of these will count for course credit, and we'll go into your participation points. So make sure to watch all of those. And in the lessons like 1 and 2, which I would recommend watching first, I tell you when to go to those videos, or if you'd like to stop the video that you're on and like watch the other video, the What is Art or Chuck Close or whichever one, you can just pause it and then come back after you've watched the video that I've kind of cued you to, or you can just wait and watch them all at the end. It's totally up to you. So after you've watched those videos, oh, also meant to point out, I have skeletal notes for lessons 1 and 2. This does not include the additional videos, the Chuck Close, the What is Art. But if you need help, or it benefits you to take notes for, during your lectures, things like that, the skeletal notes is a great option for you to sort of like fill in the blanks, for the content that we need for these lessons. So they are optional. You do not have to do these, but I have had suggestions and just like requests in the past to have some sort of skeletal notes for you to use while you're watching the ed puzzles. So these are those. So and you'll just download those also. I've also got the lessons 1 and 2 PowerPoint there. So if you want to look back on the PowerPoint, but not necessarily like go through the whole ed puzzle, this is there for you to download and to look through as well. We've got quiz 1 for lessons 1 and 2. Please do not take this quiz before watching the ed puzzles and going over the rest of the course material for this week. Super important to do that first. Don't try to take the quiz first. But our quizzes, they are pretty standard and they are consistent throughout the entire course. You'll have 10 questions that kind of summarize or like get the main points of this module page. And they'll just be 10 questions. They're multiple choice, true or false, sometimes short answer style. And also note there is only 1 attempt per quiz. You cannot go back and retake this quiz. You'll also only have 20 minutes to complete the quiz. So make sure that you take the quiz and you're ready to be that 1 attempt. Also, do not click away from the page once you begin the quiz. Sometimes it will boot you out of there. So just FYI, don't click away, don't try to go to other notes, things like that. I've had people in the past say that it, canceled it, or they started taking the quiz and then they came back and it had turned itself in. Just, sit down for 20 minutes, be ready to take the quiz and not focus on anything else. And then lastly, after you complete the quiz, you can review it and see the correct answers if you've missed questions. I would also highly recommend doing that in anticipation for our final exam. Remember, in the virtual orientation, I said the final exam is 2 parts. You've got part A that is a curriculum designed exam, and we will have a study guide for that one. And then part B is just reused quiz questions. So if you want to create your own study guide for that part of the final exam, you'll need to write down your answers after you take the quizzes. You can't go back, like if we're in module 8, you can't go back to module 1 and look at the quiz answers from module 1. You'll have to do that when you're reviewing the quiz itself. So make sure I'll give you more reminders on this, but make sure to review anything you need to review as soon as you take the quiz. Don't wait in advance for that. Okay. And then lastly is our active seeing assignment. This is going to be one of many assignments where we are writing about an artwork. So, and this is also kind of building to our midterm project as well. And we'll just learn what apply what we've learned during this module. So task 1 is to review our lesson 1. So I think it would be beneficial to do lessons 1 and 2, but if you can only, if you only want to watch lesson 1, that's fine. So review at least lesson 1. And then you'll need to select an artwork from Google Art and Culture. If you haven't used Google Art and Culture yet, it's super, super helpful. I'll just click on there real quick to kind of show you what that looks like. So you've got all these cool collections here, and they're essentially like free museum visits for all of these like major museums nationally and internationally. I would suggest choosing the MoMA or maybe the Art Institute of Chicago, the Met. All of those are going to be great choices. There are a few on here that are not appropriate for our course. For example, the Smithsonian National Museum of Natural History. This one is not going to be a great choice because this is not visual arts. This is more like artifacts and things that are not visual art oriented. There might be some in there that are like, really old artifacts, old sculptures, old, clay pieces, that sort of thing. But just generally, I would try to stick to art-based galleries, not just like historical galleries that showcase non-art. So yeah, Art Institute of Chicago, the Met or Metropolitan Museum of Art, MoMA, any of those would be great choices. And there are more throughout here as well. The National Gallery in London, the Tate, all of those are really, really great choices, but make sure it is an art-based museum. And let's go to our next one. Sorry, my washer is kind of going. So if you hear anything, that's what that is. Sorry, give me 1 second here. All righty, let's jump back over to our modules page and we'll go back into module 1. So after you've selected your artwork, and again, it can be anything that is art-based from any of those museums on Google Art and Culture. It cannot be a artwork that you have already used though. So if you selected one for your favorite art in the discussion from last week, cannot be that artwork. Do not reuse artworks that you've already talked about in any of the assignments that we do. So yeah, it can be any artwork. You'll need to cite the artwork and the image that you're including. You have to include an image of the artwork, include the gallery name, the artist's name, the artwork title, and the medium, and include a high quality image of the work in your document. So example of a label. Also, do not use Starry Night as your artwork. Starry Night's a great piece. However, I think it's probably the most known piece. And usually when I start doing these assignments where you have to select an artwork, I have like 50 Starry Night ones that we want to talk about. So I want to see artworks that you're not as familiar with. And I also use Starry Night a lot of the times as examples of like what to do. So I don't want you to just have to like copy and paste the information that I've already provided for you. So for example, I've already created a sample label for what your label for your artwork should look like. I've got the artist's name, Vincent van Gogh, Starry Night. And also with labeling, when you're referring to your artwork, this is super important, and I'm a little bit nitpicky about this, so just warning you now. Just like a movie or a book or a play that you're referencing in your writing, an artwork needs to either be italicized, like I have it done here, underlined, or in quotations. That is super important to know that, or to like emphasize that this artwork is an artwork and it is, something that you're referencing rather than it just being like part of the sentence. So again, every time you mention the artwork in your writing, not just in the label, it needs to have one of those 3 things done to it. Not all 3, not 2 of the 3, just one. So like here, I'm going to do italicizing, and I'll stay consistent with italicizing the whole time. I've got the medium, oil on canvas, and usually with Google Art and Culture, it'll just tell you that like after you click on the image, what the medium is. And then I've got the location. It's at the Museum of Modern Art or the MoMA. So I've got that, and then I would include a photo as well for that. So task 3, you'll utilize your active seeing that you'll learn more about in lessons 1 and 2 to explore the image more deeply, look closely at the work, and spend some time researching it and the artist. So remember, the active seeing means that you are considering that everything we see is filtered through a long history of fears, prejudices, emotions, customs, and beliefs. So you'll learn more about that in lessons 1 and 2, though. That's just a reminder for you when you get to this point. So your assignment, your actual assignment here is to write a 2-paragraph essay. And again, before beginning, include a high quality image of your artwork labeled with the title, artist name, medium size, and what gallery or location it is at currently. Paragraph 1, after researching your artwork, write a paragraph exploring the subject matter and content of your chosen work. And be sure to cite any resources using MLA format. As a reminder, if you have not already watched lessons 1 and 2, subject matter refers to what the artwork is depicting, and content refers to what that means. So the content may vary from piece to piece. Try and talk about the artist's intention. This may require some independent research and your interpretation, and you can reference the Who Decides What Art Means Edpuzzle video if you need more clarification on that. But essentially, what I want you to do first is just talk about what we are looking at. So, if it's Starry Night, the subject matter of Starry Night is the trees that are, in the piece, the starry night, the stars in the sky, the village down below. I'm just describing to you essentially like if I were looking at the piece and you weren't, and you asked me, what does this look like? That's what the subject matter would be, just like what it is that we are looking at. This has no opinion or interpretation added to it. It is just directly, like automatically, robotically telling us what is there. The content, which you will mention second, talk about subject matter first and then content. Content will be about what the work is about. So after I set up the visual of, this is about a starry night, or this is depicting a starry night. This is showing a village down below. I can then do some more research on Starry Night and tell you that this is about, Van Gogh's view from his window on a beautiful, chilly, starry night. And I know that because after researching the piece, that's what I gather from it. You can also add a little bit of your interpretation as well, but it needs to be like an educated opinion on that. It can't just be like, I think about dragons when I look at this piece, unless there's some like physical context for that. But with Starry Night, that's not where you're going to get led to based on the subject matter. So really good artwork, subject matter should inform what the content is, and form, so subject matter / form should inform what the content of the work is. So if you, for example, are, depicting a starry night, I'm just going to use the same example. If you're depicting a starry night with your form, but your content, what your intention with the work is to tell a story about dragons and, mermaids or whatever, that's not, those two things do not connect. That is not a good example of showing your content from your subject matter or from your form. And that's not successful artwork. Paragraph 2. So after you've set up the subject matter and the content, you'll write a paragraph exploring how active seeing made you think about this work of art differently. Again, this is from lessons 1 and 2. So if you have not already watched lessons 1 and 2, you'll need to do that before understanding what active seeing is. Task 5, this is a direct submission assignment, it is not a discussion, so you do not need to look for people to comment to. You'll directly upload this as a Word or PDF document to the submission link, or type your response in the right submission. Here is a good student example of what I'm looking for, essentially. Some important reminders with this one and pretty much every assignment that we'll have from here on out. You'll need to upload your document as a PDF or a Word document. That is essential. Do not attach a Google Doc link or any other type of link. It needs to be a direct upload of your assignment and of your writing. Do not, again, if you submit links, I will not accept links. So just be aware of that. And the reason being is a lot of the times when there are links that are submitted, I've not been given permission to view the link. It's like it's on your Google Drive or on your Google Docs, and you've not allowed me accessibility to view the document. Aside from that, it also does not allow us to check the work with the plagiarism checker, SafeAssign, that we use for Blackboard. So that's extremely problematic as well. So please make sure not to upload a link. I will not accept a link that has been submitted. Also, make sure not to add your text as a comment or as a link, like I said. I'll show you what a comment looks like here in just a second. And do not add your photo as a link. You must upload using the plus icon in the drop-down bar as a JPEG or a PDF. Again, a reminder, don't use Starry Night by Van Gogh as your artwork because I use that as my example. And then if you are having trouble understanding the instructions, be sure to watch the weekly check-in, which you're doing right now, in video for a verbal explanation. And then any additional questions or concerns should be addressed no later than 5 p.m. on Friday before the assignment is due. This is just another great place for a reminder. My open hours for you to communicate with me are Monday at 8 a.m. to Friday at 5 p.m. I may respond to you outside of those times. However, I will not guarantee it. So if you're waiting until the weekend to address like a question with me, especially something that's like could be explained by watching the video, or something that could have just, been a quick clarification type thing, unfortunately, I can't guarantee that I will get back to you on that. So going back real quick to the uploading process, I'm just going to click on the active seeing assignment to upload it. It'll show me all my instructions again. You can also view the rubric here if you'd like to see what you're being graded on. There will be a rubric. Oh, it's going to go. Let's see. There will be a rubric for every single one of our assignments and discussions. So anytime you want to look at the rubric, you can just click on that there. It also tells you the due date. And then if we go all the way down, we'll see the submission. There are 3 options here. You can create a submission, and that's going to give you this little drop down thingy here. If you want to upload your photo, you'll need to have saved it to your computer. Click the more here, and then the plus button, and then it'll give you the option to insert local files. So if you don't have your image uploaded onto your document that you upload, you can do that here if you'd like. And then you can also upload a document, or you can just write your submission here and you can do the plus for your photo. Next, you can just upload a file and it'll go to browse local files and you'll be able to select your document from there. Lastly, also you'll need to click the I agree to submit my paper to the global reference database, or it won't upload. And then lastly, there's this option to add comments. It looks very similar to the write submission or create submission. However, please do not add your work as an add comment. This is there for you to say, hey, I'm not sure if my image uploaded correctly. Can you please clarify for me? Or just any additional information in addition to the assignment that I might need to know. However, if you put your entire work in the comments section, it is going to like compress it. So none of your like formatting or anything is going to take place. It won't go through SafeAssign. And just generally, I will not accept that submission. So do not add your text as a comment. Make sure it's either on the upload files or the create submission box right there. And yeah, I think that's everything for module 1. It's a little bit longer than I wanted it to be. I am going to go all the way down here now on my modules page to the projects folder down below. You guys won't have all this stuff. It's just in my view because it's an instructor view. The projects, we'll see the midterm project, the art analysis assignment here. And if you would like to go ahead and look at those instructions, you're more than welcome to. I will say, really until we get out of module 3, that's when the project will be due and when you'll have all the information that you need to start the project, really. But you can start working on it and start getting an idea for what you want to do earlier if you'd like. So here is the instructions for that. So just, watch this at your convenience. And here are the written out instructions as well. Essentially, though, what the art analysis is a building upon the active seeing assignment that we're doing this week by writing 1,000 to 1,200 word analysis of another chosen artwork. Again, can't be the same one from the active seeing assignment or any one that you have used up until this point. Has to be something brand new. But if you want to go ahead and start looking around for your artwork, you can definitely do that. It's 4 paragraphs and it is, again, very similar, honestly, to like the beginning of the active seeing assignment. You're going to talk about subject matter and form. You're going to talk about how different principles and elements of design are being used in the artwork, and then also focusing on content as well. But it's just a more developed version, essentially, of what the active seeing assignment is. But yeah, that is all you need to do. Don't upload this before this project is introduced. I'm not saying like you need to do this right now. You do not have all the information that you need to complete this project right now. So please wait until we get past modules 1, 2, and 3 to upload this assignment. Otherwise, you will not have the information that you need to do this successfully, and you will not get a good grade, just point blank. I have never had somebody submit their midterm project super early and get a good grade. So just make sure that you're being cautious of that. Otherwise, though, we'll introduce the outline to the midterm project next week. You do not need to worry about turning in anything with the project right now. I just want to kind of get it in your brains. But yeah, you can look at that anytime you'd like to, but please do not upload it. And yeah, I think that clarifies everything for this week. This is a little bit longer than my normal weekly check-ins are, so I apologize for that, but I just wanted to go ahead and clarify some just like basic things within the modules that we hadn't talked about yet. And if you guys have any other questions outside of what is talked about in this video, please email me at my Gaston College email. It's sshuford@gaston.edu. Additionally, I wanted to give a quick reminder. I almost forgot. I've had some questions already this week about the section number for the email policy. And again, this is my email policy. I'm not trying to like be mean to you guys when I'm not responding to your emails, or I'm just continuously reminding you to include your section number. But I have had to do that with a few people because I don't want it to get into the habit of not including your section number and getting a response from me. So your section number, again, it's these 3 numbers right here. And again, I teach 6 sections of online art appreciation. I'm just looking at one of those sections right now. You'll need to look at your Blackboard page and look at the 3 numbers and letters that are beside of Art 111 and include that in your email whenever you are emailing me. Again, this is not for everybody. This is just if you are in Art 111 D6B. But again, I teach 6 sections, so yours could be any of the 6 sections that I have listed. Let's see, where are they? Actually, I have 7 sections this semester. So this is my spring 2024, and I've got Art 111 D6B, D6C, D6D, D6H, P8B. And so it's super important. Otherwise, just to give you perspective, if you don't include your section number and I don't ask you to include it, I'm going to have to go through every single one of these classes to find where you're at. And I would love to say that I have memorized all of my like 300 students at this point, and what their section number is, where they're coming from, but I have not, unfortunately. So I would like for you to please, please, please include that section number. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep sounding like a broken record and saying, please include your section number before emailing me. Please include your section number before emailing me. And that'll be just how it goes. But not trying to be mean. That's in my email policy, outlined in my syllabus. It's not new information. So just want to hit the ground running, getting consistent about that, getting into the habit of putting the section number. Otherwise, though, I think that covers everything for this week actually now. And please feel free to reach out to me if you have any other questions or concerns. And I will see you guys next Monday to go over week 3's content.